this was one of the more fun reports to read because there were so many fun examples. Like one ophthalmologist billed $6.7 million, which is more than twice as much as the next highest billing one. That was in 1 year.
Briscoe and Scott back for another episode of A Closer Look here across the Village Media Network and wherever you get your favorite podcast. By the way, closerlookpodcast.ca. You can sign up. We'll send you fresh episodes every day. It's how we roll.
Via email, right?
Yes, via email. Yeah. Would there be another
I don't know.
form of delivery?
Send them in the mail.
Snail mail?
On a VHS.
Are they on? Is rotating? Are they all done those things now?
I think they've agreed to the agreement in principle. We'll have to get Jim Gallant back on here.
I mean, on again, off again, on again, off again.
I know.
Okay, raccoons. Whoa, that took off last night.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling it would. It's funny because we talk about so many serious, important issues on this show, and then sometimes we have fun, just like the reporter did when Emma wrote that story, having some fun with a piece of scientific research and just digging into it a little bit. But yeah, lots of reaction, lots of views.
Yeah.
Made me wonder, what you would name your pet raccoon.
Well, Derek said Rocky.
Rocky, that's
the raccoon.
The Beatles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I was trying to write the headline for that last night, and I was looking for panda or raccoon terms. I didn't know they're called the trash pandas. I'd never heard that.
Yes.
The masked bandits, I'd never heard.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. It's a good story.
Before I forget, speaking of Derek, received an email the other night, somebody mentioning when we're signing off, we're always, saying who we are and mentioning Derek, but no one ever sees Derek.
Oh, we don't want anyone to see Derek. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Yeah.
There's a mystery to it. It's like
we actually have an AI producer.
Yeah. Exactly.
I did that for your benefit.
Exactly. Just like Lawrence. This is our Derek. This is our Lawrence. Yeah.
No,
there's a mystery. No, Derek's been shown a couple times, and there's a mystery to it. It just builds the mystique. The legend. The legend. Derek Turner. It's lurking somewhere back there. It makes it seem like it's so far away, like it's way down a big room when he's actually 3 feet from.
It's got to be 6 feet, right? Speaking of legends, Jack Howen from the Trillium, another legend in his own right. He's coming on tonight, and we're going to talk about the AG's latest report that came out Tuesday.
Yes, and for the record, we're going to show Jack's face. He's coming on via Zoom. He's via Zoom. Yeah, the Auditor General released her annual report this week. Obviously, is always a big deal. Lots of different angles, lots of different stories that come out, and a lot of healthcare-related stories, including the province's efforts to increase primary care providers in Ontario, and also OHIP billing and the system. And I'll leave you with this teaser. They're still working in a 1980s era system for how doctors file their bills. We'll leave it at that. We'll listen to what Jack has to say.
Ontario's Auditor General took a closer look at how doctors are billing the system, and she definitely found some head-scratching entries, some doctors claiming they worked more than 24 hours in a day. Others saying they were on the job every single day of the year, all 365. All told, Shelley Spence found about $665 million in questionable OHIP claims that may need to be reviewed. Here to break it all down is a man who also works 24/7. Jack Howen, one of our Queen's Park reporters at the Trillium. Welcome back to the show, Jack. Good to see you as always.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can't say I haven't pulled a couple 114-hour days.
A couple? You're the king of 114-hour days.
That's the humor that we've missed,
That's
Jack.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jack. Have a good night.
Jack, we're going to get into some of the questionable claims in a sec here, but let's start with what the Auditor General uncovered about how OHIP billing is actually being monitored right now.
Yeah, not very well, it turns out. There are 8 staff that are responsible for reviewing suspicious claims. The ministry has flagged this before and requested additional staff, but those staff were all sent to do other things when they came online. So it's a small handful of people covering thousands of doctors in the province. And the system that the ministry uses is from the 1980s and does not have the ability to automatically flag suspicious payments. That technology exists, and we recommended that they upgrade, which they agree.
Using tech from the 1980s, Jack, how is that even possible?
Government.
You work 24 hours a day, and that's the best answer you have?
I'm a little
You're
tired.
clearly not working long enough.
It is crazy, right? Because we hear so much about technology today, and then
Yeah.
you hear something like that. But I guess the governments do move a little slower. Let's get into some of the details, Jack. Just some of the things that stuck out for you. Some of the details we read. Obviously, one doctor reportedly billed 114 hours in a single day. What were some of the other crazy things that you came across, or that the Auditor General came across?
Yeah, and this was one of the more fun reports to read because there were so many fun examples. Like one ophthalmologist billed $6.7 million, which is more than twice as much as the next highest billing one. That was in 1 year.
Wow.
A diagnostic radiologist reported working 364 or more days in each year between 2021 and 2024, and billed $3 million in 2023-24. So, I mean, it's only 364 days, so they had a day off at least. But anyway, you get the sense that there were even more examples. Like she'd said that there were hundreds, or not hundreds, dozens, more than 100 examples of doctors with, suspicious billing in terms of time per day worked or per year worked. And she only plucked out a couple of them, but there must have just been way more.
Yeah. So people who read that initially, the headline, for example, they might think, oh, man, this is fraudulent behavior. But is it fraud? Is it bad record keeping? Is it a bit of both?
Yeah, we don't know. And the auditor was careful to stress this. It may be a situation where a doctor is just billing all of their clients for the week on one day. We know that doctors have long complained about the admin workload. So I'm sure some of them are like not doing it correctly or doing it all in one lump sum. But when you look at working 365 days a year, it's hard to come up with explanations. But, I'm not the auditor or these harried ministry staff. So I don't know. Maybe there is an explanation.
That's a great point. Was Scott right about the figures, about 600 and some odd million, that the Auditor General is saying they should take a closer look at?
Yeah, it was between 400 and 665 million. And that might not be all of it because, it's the auditor's team finding what they can. It's not like an automated system that's catching everything.
Yeah. Do you know off the top of your head, like, are there situations where sometimes the government will go back to a doctor and say, hey, that was wrongly billed. We want you to give this money back?
Yeah. So the parliamentary assistant for the Minister of Health was available to respond to the AG's report. And he said that, 99% of all payments are A-OK. And then that 1% are reviewed. Although a problem that the auditor flagged was that, because of the lack of tech and lack of staff, they're not catching all they could probably. But he said of that 1% that are flagged, 40% are actually not a problem, which implies, I guess, that the other 60% of that 1% are, in fact, I can't say fraudulent, but not good, I guess.
So, Jack, the Premier's office says it's now looking into every account named in the report. What does that actually mean, and is there a timeline attached to that?
I don't know, and no. The parliamentary assistant press conference was interesting. He spent a lot of time talking about the figures that were all fine and dandy, and didn't really seem to want to answer questions about specifics in the AG's report. And then, so that bit in the story about the Premier's office spokesperson clarifying after the fact was sort of a necessity. They came up to the reporters and were like, hey, we are looking into this and we're not okay with it, just so you know. So it's unclear exactly what that means.
It did seem like things got a little testy with the parliamentary secretary because it wasn't the health minister that came out. What actually happened? Can you set the scene for us?
I wasn't there, unfortunately, but I did have the pleasure of listening back to the recording afterwards. He was clearly not used to facing pointed questions from reporters in this sort of scenario. So I definitely have sympathy. But he had his talking points and he stuck very closely to them. And it was just not what we were asking in a lot of cases. So it led to some frustration for sure with the reporters who were there.
Is it true that he said something along the lines of like, you should be happy that I'm here?
Yeah, someone asked why the minister wasn't there, and he said, I don't have the quote in front of me. It's in the Trillium Today, the Queen's Park Today newsletter from this morning.
Yes.
But yeah, he said, you should be happy that I'm here, and it is in fact very appropriate for you to be talking to me, which is Never something you want to be saying, I think.
Odd that the minister wasn't there. She must have taken her one day of the year off.
I was going to say, yeah. Do you know where the minister? Where was the minister?
Unclear. I'm not sure.
No, it's not clear. Okay. In terms of the response from the doctor side of things, like has the medical association come out to talk about this? Because it goes back to this question I asked earlier, Jack. People see this and they think, oh, they're ripping off the system. And the Auditor General, like you said, was very clear that that's not necessarily what's happened here. We don't know exactly what happened here. But has any medical association or doctors group responded to this?
Not that I know of. It would be a good idea to follow up with them. I'm sure there are explanations, as we talked about, for some of the strange figures.
That's why I'm the editor, Jack.
That's right.
I'm not working 24/7, though.
So, Jack, the government says 40% of audited bills show nothing unusual. Everything is fine. So this may seem like an obvious question, but that still leaves 60% of bills. So what about those?
Yeah, and again, it's unclear exactly what those are. Nobody wanted to say the F word, fraud. But yeah, those bills would be situations in which that handful of ministry staff would have to follow up with them even more and potentially demand repayment or reference to the behavioral board.
Just to backtrack, so everybody understands, this is part of the Auditor General's annual report, correct? That there's a lot of different things. And she did touch on some other issues with the health system, had some health-related audits, other ones in this report. One of them had to do with family doctors and their lack of participation in the province's Healthcare Connect system. Can you talk about that, Jack, and tell us what she found?
Yeah, so I think it was, let me just find the exact figure. Yeah, she found that over the past 3 years, only 7% of physicians who could be accepting Healthcare Connect patients were doing so. Anyone who's used Healthcare Connect, well, I shouldn't say anyone. I've used Healthcare Connect, and I put in my information when I first moved to Ontario. I thought, great, here's a centralized tool to help me find a family doctor. Put in my info and never heard anything back. And I did end up getting a family doctor because one was right next to me and opening patients. And so I was kind of wondering why I wasn't, linked up with her. But anyway, it's outdated according to several Ontario health teams. Lots of doctors don't use it. There are long wait times for lots of patients. It does do its job. Apparently 47% of patients that sign up are matched with a doctor in, I think it's under a month, fewer than 21 days. But that still leaves a lot of people who are not matched in a timely fashion. And only about 11% of the 2 million Ontarians who don't have a family doctor are actually registered with this thing.
Jack, I thought the Ford government, with the help of former Health Minister Jane Philpott, was making great progress on connecting Ontarians with primary care.
Yeah, and it's a long road. To be fair to the government, it's not like there are tons of doctors ready and trained and hoping to welcome patients. And it's just a matter of connecting them. They have moved to expand training seats. They've moved to try and been building medical facilities. But it's a slow road, and we're only going to know how well they've done in a few years. Also, with that training, with that expansion in training, there are also issues the auditor found. For instance, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Colleges and Universities are working together on that. And despite the push for more seats, like medical school seats, the government hasn't adequately planned for training sites to actually give these pre-doctors the hands-on training that they need. So it's going to be 44% fewer graduates than the ministry had actually planned for by the end of this year.
Dumb question that people may wonder, Jack. On Auditor General Day, when all these different chapters of these reports come out, there's all kinds of criticisms of the government. Are there any positive things that the Auditor General comes out and says, even this year, for example, that she says, this is going really well?
I guess that's not really her job. There's a reason that she audits the things that she audits. But But it's a good question. I don't know if there have been any reports where, she delves in and finds that actually everything is okay. I don't know what happens in that situation, or if it is ever.
She's not in the blow and smoke business.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Do you write a report saying that, or do you just kind of leave it out?
Yeah, you think, because if you're tasked to audit certain things, you might sometimes audit and say, hey, it's actually going fairly well.
Balance, if there's balance to be noted.
Yeah, here's my next dumb question, Jack, just for people who don't understand the process. Does her office pick what to be audited? Do people recommend what to audit? How does that work? Do you know?
So MPPs can request audits of specific things throughout the year. This is for general or for annual report, and I believe that's totally under the purview of her office. But there can be special auditor general reports that come out throughout the year.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jack, I know this only came out Tuesday. I'm assuming the opposition has jumped all over this?
Yeah, the government had their time up, and the opposition also had their time up. It's what you would expect. I don't think there was anything really new. Although Adil Shamji, the health critic for the Liberals and a doctor himself, said he's been all over the Ford government to take action on inappropriate billing with dozens of examples that he's put forward, and said that they have not really engaged with them on it.
It is a fascinating question. So again, we talk about the F word, as you said, fraud. But if you read this, it does make you wonder. I mean, that many examples. Is there one in there or a couple in there where this actually is done on purpose? That you're gaming a system where the technology is 1980s era stuff. I guess we just don't know at this point. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, doctors are people. There are bad people. Who knows?
That's right.
Yeah, but when you look at examples like that ophthalmologist that billed twice as much as the next highest one, $6.7 million. Yeah, you really do scratch your head.
Absolutely. Well, no bad people in this room. Jack, anything else that we didn't ask you about tonight regarding these particular audits that you covered yesterday?
I think that just about covers it. Yeah.
Good stuff. 114 hours. You're doing some hard work there, Jack, and we appreciate it.
That's right. Yeah. I'll see you guys in a few weeks on my next work.
From the Trillium, there's reporter Jack Howen. Thanks as always, Jack. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, he may not be seen very often on this program. However, executive producer Derek Turner is always heard. And the line of the show, to work in a doctor's office, you have to have a good working knowledge of MS-DOS.
That's great. Could you imagine that? You saw that on your job profile, job posting.
Oh my God,
MS-DOS. But it's amazing. It'd be fascinating to do a video of here's how doctors file an OHIP claim, right? Because it'd be like, how do you do that? Like, what's the 1980s era technology? Like,
well, how can you imagine? The Auditor General's office going through this and seeing one doctor reportedly billing 114 hours in a single day. Yeah. How do you not call bullshit on that?
Yeah,
seriously,
it's true. You wonder where, and like the never took a day off.
Yeah,
right?
Come on.
And how you can claim more than 24 hours in a day.
That is,
it's amazing.
You think we work hard? Apparently, we're not working as hard as doctors.
It's amazing. If a doctor's listening or a medical association is listening, we want to hear from you, because I would like to hear, because I'm sure every doctor's talking about this Auditor General report right now, right? And they're talking, and they know who's not as careful as others, and then you got the ones who are super careful, and they probably underbill because they don't want to rip off the system. And it'd be great to hear from some of those doctors.
And to be clear, it's not. Look, it's like anything, right? Yeah. It's a few bad apples.
For sure. And there may be no bad apples. It just might be, mistake.
MS-DOS,
Yeah. That's a hard system to understand, right? I mean, I'm going to have to Google it even when I'm out. I forget what MS-DOS is. I just remember it was from that was an 80s style program.
Now, does that mean you need a dot matrix printer to have that?
That's right.
Is that how that works?
You have to know how to use binary code.
My God. We've just dated ourselves,
Yeah, I know.
All right.
But it just... I'm the dumbest guy on earth, and I laugh about, I make jokes about AI all the time, right?
Yeah.
But the stuff they can do, and people are building it in 5 minutes, right? You can't build an OHIP billing system in 5 minutes. It's just mind-boggling.
Or you choose not to, for whatever reason.
You know what they should do instead of government contracts? The Trillium will never write this story. It's so dumb. But instead of putting out tenders, they should put out contests. We're going to pay X amount of dollars flat rate to the person who comes up with the best new OHIP billing system. Sure. And all these tech experts, all these coders would create something amazing, right? And they would show it off. There'd be a contest, and that would be it. There'd be no putting out the tender and having to hire people and then having to go way over budget. This is how much we're going to pay. Show us who's the best, and we get it done.
And throw a prize at the end of it?
Yeah, I'm resigning from the show. I'm running.
All right. Derek,
I'm running
you're
for
getting the call up.
Yeah, Derek. I'm going to show Derek's face. He's going to be my campaign manager.
Let's be honest. He should be here anyway.
But it's crazy. I mean, I think of the guys that run the tech in this company are the smartest guys I've ever met.
They could do that in an afternoon.
They'd probably spend an afternoon and they would create a tool that could be OHIP billing better than OHIP. And I'm saying all this because I want someone to answer and say, no, you're totally wrong. This is how hard it is, and this is what all the problems are. So we'll see if the phones light up.
Well, the phones may not light up, but the email certainly can't. Closer look at villagemedia.ca. We would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on tonight's program. For the seldom seen executive producer of the program tonight and every night, Derek Turner, Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.